good old boy, he's got a story to tell. Tavin will mow your grass and make it look so well. Now Tavin goes donut goals when in town he comes, getting strength for his haunches to cannonball for fun. Tavin, ramping up the holler, Tavin, trying to make a dollar, Tavin.
Welcome to the Tavin Dillard Podcast, y'all guys. Season 12's Episode 2's me. I'm Tavin Dillard. I got Tavin's lawn care services, mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. Welcome in, y'all guys. We got a brand new season of the podcast, and we got a real old year of the year. 2024's almost over. We into December's times. If you listen to this on the day it come out, you know it's Christmas Eve. Folks, Stockings is hung by the chimneys with care. That kind of thing. But if you just listen to the week of, then maybe you had a little Christmas already, or you heading into the new year. But I'm telling you, it's already a new season on the podcast thing. I hope y'all enjoyed last week's episode where I just had a phone call with my buddy Brent Reeves. He works for Meat Eater over there. Well, he got his own podcast. He helped out sometimes on the Render on the Bear Grease podcast, but he got his very own podcast called This Country Life. Well, anyhow, me and him caught up on last week's episode, which you might have listened to that, and then you already know all that, and none of this matters. Well, I'm just going to say, check the show notes for everything that's going on. You know, it's been a busy month. Folks buying Pickle Boon shirts, and folks buying, the 2025 wall calendars, and they buying bags of bacon and all that stuff, and the Teen Burger Shed books, all that's going on. You know what's coming up in the new year? I got big plans for. What I learned from my friends and y'all guys on the interweb is that if you want something, you ask for it. And if you don't want something, you don't ask for it. And so people have asked for a hat that I'm going to be designing. I mean, it's like a regular hat. Like, I ain't designing the hat. I'm designing the artwork on the hat. And it's going to say, Pickle Boon. I got the bank hat, and I got the bacon hat, and the butter hat, and the donuts hat. Well, they're going to be a bank. I mean, I already said that. They're going to be a Pickle Boon hat after the New Year's. So, well, that's something to look forward to. If you end up not having the sun in your eyes and Pickle Boon, that's a win-win for you. The weather's been cool. You know about that? I don't know where you at today, but the weather's been cool in my neck of the woods. Christmas, of course, is in the air. And guess what? Donut Goes, they serve donuts in town. Cheryl Grubbs, Shane Grubbs, they own that thing. They got a little daughter named Maisley. They got a son named Perry Lee. And they got a doggy named Jalapeno that has tore up the backseat of a Chevy Cobalt like nothing you ever seen. Nothing you ever seen, y'all guys. Anyhow, they also had, down at Donut Goes, other than donuts, they had hot cider. They got that right now. They also had mesh Christmas stockings. You know about them? You have them growing up, them mesh Christmas stockings. They red, and they got kind of like a red and white design at the very top, but then just the stocking part, that mesh part's red, and inside there's like an orange and like a couple walnuts and a candy cane. Anyhow, good luck cracking open them walnuts. You got to have some kind of palate. I don't know what kind of palate, if it's sophisticated palate or not, but that's a medley of flavors if you was looking to tear into that stocking in one setting. It's like, oh yeah, how about some orange and some walnuts and some candy cane? Let's just see what we can do here. I don't know who does that, if they eat one of them stockings all at once, but you got that option if you get one of them mesh stockings. And the reason they had them down at Donut Goes, lots of times as a kid, you ain't looking for fruit and tree nuts, you just looking for candy. So that candy cane may be the big winner, if you're a little kiddo and you get a hold of that stocking. Anyhow, Donut Goes had neighbors bring stuff in for the stockings. So like people in the neighborhood, people in town, bring in, we're going to stuff these little mesh stockings full of goodies for folks in the community and that kind of thing. Meemaw's best friend, Tabby Jean Tipton, was in charge of the event. And, Shane and Cheryl Grubbs, of course, they own it, like I said. And they the ones that supplied the red mesh stockings. So they's in it some money. You buying like a goodly amount of red mesh stockings, and they empty, and then the community's providing what's going to fill them stockings like that away. So anyhow, folks brought in what they thought should go in these stockings. Now you imagine that you open something up to everybody, just like, hey, come donate, and you ain't got real clear regulations or rules. Folks, you know, what might be a treasure to somebody is just a bunch of junk to everybody else in the world, or just ain't appropriate. It wouldn't be something you put in a mesh stocking for Christmas for a kiddo or nothing like that. So, you know, they're going to have to do some sorting when they're out there inviting the whole town. You know, bring your favorite whatever. You know, people got different tastes, different favorites or whatever. So they had to figure that out. So it was advertised, though. They did try to give some categories like fruits, nuts, candy canes, like I just said. But here's what folks brought. Are y'all ready for this? Here's what folks brought to this event in addition to that list. Now, I say like an event, like it's just 5 o'clock today. Now, it's like all day, you know, a couple days where folks could just drop stuff off. But I'm just saying, this is some of the stuff they dropped off that really didn't fall under the category, any of them categories of fruits, nuts, or candy canes. Are you ready for that list? Okay, you got a pen and pad, you can write it down. You ain't got to, you can just listen, that's fine. And I guess with the digital interweb world, you can pause it and rewind it if you need to hear the whole list. I ain't speeding through it anyhow. I mean, truth be told, I ain't even got to the list yet. I'm just doing this big old build up like I'm chugging toward the ramp, but I ain't launched yet kind of thing. All right, here's what we got. In addition to fruits, nuts, candy canes, we got loose cashews. I mean, them are good, don't get me wrong, and I guess they do fall into the family of the nuts, but they loose. They ain't in a can, they ain't in a package. It's just like somebody dropped off a handful of cashews, you know? And why are they loose? You know, even a can of cashews that's already open, it'd be a little concerning. Like, who peeled off the aluminum lid on this thing that's under the plastic lid? You know, them Stay Fresh aluminum things that you got a pull tab on, and then the cashews are like revealed to the world. Well, I mean, even if somebody, you know, brought half a can of cashews that had the plastic lid on it, you'd still be like, well, I don't know if we can serve these. You know, how are we going to put that in somebody's stocking anyhow, kind of thing. But the loose cashews, they just supposed to sprinkle in them stockings like it's the top of an ice cream sundae or something like that? Are they salty? You know, because not all cashews are salty. Some are salty and some are unsalted. It's what they call unsalted. That's when you take the salt, but you like if you put at the beginning of something, you saying it ain't there. It's unsalted. You unworthy, you know, to play on the softball team because you didn't pay your fee kind of thing. You underwater, that's, I don't know. I might have stepped outside my wheelhouse there with that one. Anyhow, if they ain't salty, did somebody lick the salt off before they dropped them off at Donut Goes? These are questions you wonder and know with these loose cashews. So that's just one of them. Other thing got dropped off, pipe cleaners. I guess them can keep a kiddo busy. Like a kiddo might be happy to get a pipe cleaner, but it was just a few. It wasn't a lot of them, just like 3 or 4 or something. Like you could maybe make a couple of bracelets, or you could clean a pipe with it, right? I mean, that's how it got its name, I guess. Cleans pipe cleaner, but it just wasn't enough. You know, it's like, okay, if you're going to give something, like give enough to end up in a few stockings, or like, you know, I don't know what a goodly amount of pipe cleaners would be for one stocking, but if somebody's going to build something out of it, or I don't know, braid something or make it, you probably need 5, 6, 7 per stocking. And when you got 3 or 4 total, I mean, we just staring at each other like, what in the world is this? All right, what else got dropped off? Teeth got dropped off, y'all guys. Looked like a possum's teeth. I don't know if some pediatric possum dentist dropped them off or whatever. I ain't sure possums got baby teeth. Or, you know, if they just pulled the growed teeth out, like maybe it was possum wisdom teeth. I don't know. I didn't go to school for possum teeth. And maybe they don't believe in the tooth fairy, so they let humans donate their teeth, like possums. Just say, well, just take these. My kids put them under their pillow, and here in our little possum house, we don't give them nickels or quarters or nothing like that, so why don't y'all just take them? Like, I don't know the story. I do not know the story. I don't know why or how them possum teeth got there, but somebody dropped them off, and I'm just trying to figure it out. All I know is that teeth got dropped off. They got dropped off, and some sort of animal's teeth. Okay? So that's the list so far if you keeping track at home. Loose cashews, salty or unsalty, I do not know. Pipe cleaners, just a few, and possum teeth or some sort of animal. We ain't sure. Next, butterscotch discs. Okay. Them actually was a good addition to the whole Christmas stocking thing. I wouldn't be mad to get a butterscotch disc and a mesh Christmas stocking, especially if it's wrapped, and they was wrapped. Them are good for all ages. Sure, you mostly seen them in a candy dish at your grandparents' house, but they really work for lots of ages. I'll tell you right now, a kiddo ain't going to turn that down. You know about that? Okay, so that was a good one. Then we got travel size shampoo and hotel soap. I guess somebody travels for work and collects them and saw a chance to get rid of them. I do not know. You know, again, I'm just guessing over here. So we got the travel size shampoo, hotel soap, also got ketchup packets. I don't know if they'd been in the kitchen drawer for 3 years or in the fridge for 4. All I know is they got donated. What kiddo is going to be excited to get a ketchup packet in his red mesh stocking? I mean, if you got it filled with French fries, maybe. Lots to put in them stockings now. Anyhow, here's the list. In addition to the oranges, walnuts, and candy canes, here's the full list, like we said. Loose cashews, pipe cleaners, teeth, possibly Possum, butterscotch disc, travel size shampoo, hotel soap in the wrapper, ketchup packets. Merry Christmas. Now, Tabby Jean's job is to sort through all these things and decide what goes in and what don't. Seemed like a pretty short list of what goes in. So here's why basically none of it went in. Like if a kiddo's reaching into a stocking, even though that mesh, you seen that mesh? It's like if you at the backstop at a softball field and you got to look through that chain link. It's like that, but it's littler, and it's one of those things where you can see what's in it. That's what I'm saying. It ain't invisible, but you can see clear. So probably a kid ain't gonna reach into a mesh stocking that's got a bunch of teeth in it and cut their hands because they see they about to reach for them teeth. But I will say that you don't want to put that in a kid's stocking anyway, because they'll still be curious, curious like a little cat, and say, what we got in there? And then some kids might try to make a necklace out of it. All I'm saying is you ain't got enough teeth because it's basically like a jaw or something. I don't know, where you can't put them in the, do I really need to explain to y'all guys? Surely, I mean, we all agree that you probably don't want to put possum teeth in somebody's red little mesh Christmas stocking. So anyhow, Tabby Jean said, no, them are out. The loose cashews, same thing. You don't know where they came from. You don't know if they was salty and they got the salt licked off of them. You don't know how long they've been around, if they even stale or if they fresh off the cashew tree. It just didn't make sense. So no cashews made it in. The pipe cleaners, there wasn't enough. You can't do it. So forget about that. Butterscotch discs, they went in. The travel size shampoo, the hotel soap did not. Now, I think they donated them to like the nursing home or somewhere down there where people can have them little things in their room or when they take a shower. So they didn't throw them out, but they didn't put them in kids' Christmas stockings. I mean, truth be told, if you got some soap next to a candy cane, you'd be kind of mad because you think, well, this candy cane, I know it was wrapped, but all I can taste is some sort of real powerful spring fresh hotel soap, on this candy cane. So that didn't go in. And in the ketchup packets, they pulled them out. The mess hall at the nursing home can use a good ketchup packet or two. So anyhow, that's how all that went in and didn't go in. So some butterscotch discs snuck into them stockings. So once Tabby Jean gets them stockings put together, she has to deliver them. So you got folks in the community you're going to deliver to. Basically, there's folks that gave and there's going to be folks that received. And that's how it is. That's the kind of what you see on the Christmas times. I probably ain't got to explain that to you. Linda Ray Mantell said she'd stop by after her shift at Early Bird Gets the Perm with her daughter Daphne and help deliver them stockings to folks too. So Tabby Jean going to have some help. Now, Lindy Ray, she's married to Cody Mantell. And they got a little baby Trigger, too. And Cody's cousin, Whitney, she's dating J.T. Whitlow. He lives in Chancellor Park. That's the trailer park I live in. And so that's how that go. And Cody's on my team, Team Burger Shed. Now, I don't know about, this next season. That'll come up, though, after the New Year's when the new season starts. Who's on what team and is everybody coming back or whatever. But that ain't information I have today on me. But I'll tell you right now, Daphne was going to help deliver red mesh stockings and helping Tabby Jean Tipton out. That's me, my best friend. I done told you that. Millie Rick showed up with some empty refried bean cans saying kids love to make telephones out of them. All they need is a drill and some yarn, she says. That's what she said. It wasn't no help that Millie's pet possums were with her, Possum Keith and baby Kevin. You remember them phones that she talking about though? Some do with them little plastic cups, like when you were a kiddo. But I don't know kids these days if they play telephone, because you give them one of them tellulars and they think they connected to the whole world. But boy, when you a little kid back in the day, you string a empty refried bean can or whatever, maybe one of them Hormel tamale cans, and then you got the yarn in it, and then you go somewhere else and your friend far enough away, and you talk into it, and while you talking into the can on your end, they got their can up to their ear so they can hear what you're saying, and then back and forth ways y'all goes like that. And boy, that's like a whole new world. So anyhow, Millie Ricks brought down empty bean cans so kids could make telephones out, saying all you need is a drill and a yarn to make this thing go. And she got Possum Keith and baby Kevin, her two pet possums, with her. The little one's the one that Shane Grubbs found abandoned, and he brought it to Millie. You remember him, baby Kevin, out at that like pawn shop thing, or wherever he was, doing that metal detecting? Well, now it's full circle, because that possum is in Donut Goes with Millie Ricks, and Shane and Cheryl, they own the Donut Goes. You know that. Tabby Jean Tipton don't want refried bean cans. When Millie Ricks shows up with them empty cans, she's like, no thanks, Millie. That ain't going to work. They ain't going to fit in the stockings. They kind of stretch the stockings out too much. We ain't going to do that. I don't know what Millie's thinking. I mean, a couple things. Why are you bringing a few empty bean cans to this giveaway? And probably would have been better to just bring regular cans of beans, donate to somebody to eat. But you bring empty cans and two possums to the donut shop to help for Christmas? That don't make no sense. So Cheryl offers Millie a cup of hot cider in exchange for getting them possums and refried bean cans out of that store. Not a bean in the cans. They's empty, ready to be a telephone. Then Millie asked for some donut nubs for the possums, put it in quotes. Y'all have any of them donut nubs for the possums? I guess calling them nubs makes them sound like scraps or leftovers, but she's steady pointing at the donut holes behind the glass case that they have for sale to customers with money. You gotta be kidding me, Millie. Come on! Tabby Jean tossed a broken candy cane out the front door, and Possum Keith and baby Kevin headed out there for a snack. Millie yelled and said, they can't have sugar, but I don't know what she thinks is in donut nubs. Daft Lane tried to pick up baby Kevin. He did not like that. He hissed at her. A possum will hiss at you. You know that? You corner a possum, you back them up. They know how to show them teeth. They know how to show them. So she dropped him, and he ran under a car. Now, Millie Ricks, who, by the way, won't admit that them possums are even her pets, is pretty upset that baby Kevin has fled neath a sedan in the parking lot. Indeed, she is hot. Well, this circus ain't nothing Lindy Ray Mantell's got time for, so she reaches behind that car tire and pulls out a hissing possum baby Kevin and Possum Keith. He's on the sidewalk putting in the work on that candy cane. Nothing left for baby Kevin. Tough luck, buddy. That's what you get. Lindy Ray's got to go inside and wash her hands. Then her and Daft Lane had stockings to deliver. Remember, she's the one that's helping Tabby Jean deliver them stockings, and she got to get through a possum to get to this volunteer service for the community this Christmas season. Cheryl gave the cider to Daft Lane, some cider to, Lindy Ray, and after Daft Lane got so flustered with that possum that didn't want to be held, that cider kind of calmed Daft Lane down. She's just a little girl. I don't know how she is, but she can't drive a car and she ain't in diapers, so she's somewhere between there. Lindy Ray decided to buy a couple donuts since it seemed like Cheryl was doing all, giving. She was doing all the giving everything away, giving the cider away, buying them stockings for the thing. So they got a couple donuts. Lindy Ray seen me down the street at the burger shed. That's where I was, and she asked if I could take my Ford Ranger and deliver some of these stockings to folks. The whole thing had just been taking longer than anybody thought. You think it's just I go here, I pick this up, I take this there, I drop that off. But boy, when you got possums and refried bean cans and people dropping off teeth, it gets to be a longer day. I mean, I don't know how the math work out on that, but it's just mathematical. It make a longer day. So I go down to the elementary school, and I had no idea they was having some kind of assemblies. They do that around the December times and different times of years, but they have them Christmas assemblies or, that kind of thing. Where the kiddos, they assembles in a big group, and they play music and maybe a skit or two. And apparently I was there to deliver stockings to kiddos. Did not know. I mean, I knew I had a Ford Ranger that had Stockings in it, and they said go to the elementary school, but I didn't know exactly where this was going. Maybe drop it off at the front office or that kind of thing. Well, I stand by the door on the way out the assembly room or whatever they call it, and I seen Jesse Tucker. That's Russell Tucker's little boy. You know, his aunt's Mary Beth Tucker. She dating Myron Curtis. Don't matter no how. He really inspected that stocking. I mean, he's inspecting it like he was the Health Food Services Committee or something like that. He wasn't sure about that orange or that walnut. Hey, buddy, listen, it's a free gift. Somebody at your house is liable to get into it if you don't want it. Then I seen Champ Tharp. His folks run Lady in a trampoline in town. They deliver them things into folks' yards. You know about them trampolines. Good for your haunch strength. Also hurts you when you launch the wrong way. You got to be careful. You don't want to hit that metal rim on it. You know, that outside thing that they stretch it and attach the trampoline part to? Whoo, that hurt. Hit your back on it, forget about it. You done for the day. Maybe a couple days, especially at my age. All of a sudden, there's a commotion, and I can see Candy Dilroy bursting through the assembly room. I guess that's what you call it, assembly room. And I kid you not, she got a squirrel by the back of the neck, and she holds it tight, and that thing is mad. She reaches a hand out to me, and I guess she wanted one of them red mesh stockings, because that's the only thing I was handing out. I wasn't handing out bonnets for squirrels. You know, Meemaw made those in the 80s, and turns out squirrels hate bonnets. She still got a box under her bed, but I figured that Candy Dilroy, who has caught many a wild animal in her little young, tiny, teensy life, had a squirrel by the neck, which ain't that surprising, and she reaching out that other hand to me. And truth be told, that's the whole reason I'm standing in the elementary school room. You know, I had a stocking. I handed over to Candy. She snatches that thing, and she drops the squirrel in there and closes the top. Now, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting Candy to trap that squirrel inside a mesh stocking. Now, I will say that it's got a lot of air holes in it. It ain't like you putting it in somewhere where it can't breathe. It can breathe pretty fine, but this little squirrel hair's poking through that little grid of mesh, you know, so you got squirrel hair poking out, and it's trying to make room for itself, standing on top of an orange and a walnut and a candy cane. Well, the only way you close a stocking is to hold it shut with your little hand, and that's what Candy's doing. Now, this squirrel is in a stocking with all that room to breathe, but there's still some other things in it. And then all of a sudden it realizes, wait, what's below me? Then this squirrel tried to turn lemons into lemonades. It's steady snacking on a walnut, and I just watched Candy Dilroy and that wild squirrel leave the assembly room like everything's okay. Like all's right in both they worlds. Okay, good on you, Candy. Candy's caught all kind of wild animals, like I said, like a crow. I mean, crows multiple times. Multiple. The good news is I went down there with a box full of stockings, full of candy canes, walnuts, and oranges, and left with none. That's 0 for those of you taking math classes at home. I realized I was thinking about hot cider, so I made my way back to Donut Goes for some of that. And it turns out Millie Ricks had let baby Kevin climb a light post, and it got scared. Well, you know Millie, she 80, 90 years old. She can't hear too well, see too well. Plusly, she ain't tall, so she ain't going to be able to reach baby Kevin. So next thing I know, I'm climbing a lamppost fetching a baby possum. You welcome, Millie. Now scoot. The cider was good. I don't know how Cheryl make it, but it's good. I guess folks was happy with them stockings too. I know Tabby Jean Tipton worked hard on them. It's the Christmas season, y'all guys. It is the Christmas season, and today is the Christmas Eves. Well, I better get going, y'all. Meemaw wanted me to find out why one of her Christmas lights is burnt out, so I better get to it. But I do appreciate y'all joining me on the Tab and Dillard podcast today. It's a hoot. It's been a hoot of a year hanging out in 2024. I know we got a little bit to go. You can check them show notes for all that's going on. And you can also just leave me a comment on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify, wherever you listen, and leave a rating. You know, just a little store that you can give it a rating, like this is what I think about it. And that helps other folks find the podcast and be able to join the party too. So that's a good thing. That's all, y'all guys. I appreciate y'all joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening and a very Merry Christmas. And hey, if you ain't dropped off teeth and ketchup packets at Donut Goes this week to put in red mesh Christmas stockings, you having a pretty good week. Me, I'm Tab and Dillard. This is the Tab and Dillard podcast. Till next time, y'all guys. We'll see you later.